Okay, so we have done, we have already done all this. Let's talk about just a minute. So we will begin from Weimar Republic. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, now the Weimar Republic was now as you know, Germany fought the World War I. Okay, that was between 1914,
1914 to 1918.
1918. Very good. Okay. Now and along with this, they were whom did they fight with? The
Ma'am,
Austrian
they
Empire.
started allies, Austrian Empire, and England, France, Russia.
Against
Ma'am,
versus,
group called as allies.
yeah,
Ma'am, so here Austrian Empire and the allies together fought with Germany.
yes,
Okay, ma'am.
good. Okay, now as you know, they were defeated. Okay, so Germany initially gains by occupying France, okay, and Belgium. Now, however, the Allies won defeating Germany and the Central Powers in 1918. Fine. A National Assembly met at Weimar, okay, and established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. So this was the first republic. Okay. Now the republic, however, was not received well by its own people. There were several reasons for it. We will study on it. Because the terms it was forced to accept the Germany's defeat in the end of the First World War, and many Germans held the new Weimar Republic responsible for not only the defeat but also the disgrace of the Versailles. Okay.
Ma'am, so the Weimar was acting as Germany's government after the World War.
Yeah, after the World War, the Weimar Republic was formed, but they were the Treaty of Versailles was imposed on Germany. This was the reason why the public of Germany they began to hate the Weimar Republic. So they, according to them, the idea of republic was of no good. Okay. Hi
Ma'am,
Yukta, how are you? Yeah,
ma'am, what is meaning of federal structure?
republic means the election was there.
No,
The
ma'am,
yeah, the legislative assemblies was elected. Okay, leaders were elected. So that is the meaning of the federal republic.
okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what was the effect of the war? Okay, now Germany lost about 13% of its territory. It was taken away by France. It lost 75% of its iron because its iron-rich territories were taken. Okay, it lost 26% of its coal because of its territories were taken, and Germany was demilitarized. Demilitarized means the military was taken away from Germany. They had no military, so that they could not attack again. Now the war guilt clause, Germany was forced to pay compensation of 6 billion pounds. Okay, at that time euros was not existing in Europe. Every currency in Europe was working with pound. So the Allied armies also occupied the resource-rich Rhineland the much of the 1920s. Okay.
Ma'am, can you go back?
You want to go back?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so the war had a devastating effect on the entire continent, both psychologically and financially. Okay, from being a creditor, Europe now became a debtor. Okay, the supporters of the Weimar Republic were criticized and became easy targets of attacks in the conservative nationalist circles. Soldiers came to be placed above civilians. Aggressive war propaganda and national honor became important. Now, according to them, soldiers were good people. Okay, they were those a man who is aggressive, who is abusive, and that man is was seen with honor. Okay, now a gentleman, a person who is with kindness and all, they were seen as weak person. Okay.
Ma'am,
Okay.
done.
Okay, fine. Let's do next. So now you understand why the Weimar Republic was not adopted by the people of Germany. Okay, now they were called because this Weimar Republic was formed in November, so they were also called the November criminals. So the German politicians who signed the Treaty of Versailles in November, in the month of 1918, they were called as the war criminals. Okay. Okay, now the birth of the Weimar Republic coincided with the uprising of the Spartacist League on the pattern of the Bolshevik revolution in Russia. It was the kind of a same like that of Russian revolution. Okay, now the political radicalization was heightened by the economic crisis in 1923. In crisis in 1923, high crisis was there. Okay, now the Germany refused to pay. They didn't have money itself, so they refused to pay the war reparation, or you can say the penalty that was imposed on them. And so, what happened in return? What happened? France occupied its leading industrial area, Ruhr. What was occupied? RUHR is the okay. Now Germany retaliated with printing paper currency recklessly. Okay, now what happened? They needed money, so they started printing the currency. Okay, now printing currency, what happened? Yeah, this was the hyperinflation in 1923, where they started printing currency recklessly. Okay, now what happened? The value of the German mark. Okay, the like ours is rupee, it was German mark collapsed, and the prices of goods they began to become rise. Okay, now there was hyperinflation. This was called when the prices went very high and the value of money, when the prices went very high, and this was the high prices. Okay, and the value of currency went very down. Okay, so this is called hyperinflation. So Germany began to face hyperinflation. And now we are going to talk. So this led to the situation of the Great Depression. Okay, so because what was why did the Germany had already taken loan? Okay, now he was unable to repay. Okay, so he was unable to repay. So France occupied Ruhr, yeah, their iron rich resources. So they began printing currency. Okay, so what happened? They dragged in the wagon. They dragged stacks of currency in wagons. Okay, this led to hyperinflation. Okay, now what happened? What this led to? This led to the Dawn's plan. So what German started taking help from USA. Okay, this was called the Dawn's plan. So what is this Dawn's plan? They were taking loans from USA. So USA was readily helping. Okay. So what happened in 1929? Already USA began to face the Great Economic Depression. Okay. Now the Great Economic Depression rose because of the Wall Street Exchange had crashed in USA. Okay. Now the effect of the Great Depression was between 1929 to 1932. The national income of the US fell by half. The factories were shut down, exports fell, people were badly hit. So what will happen now? They were not able to help Germans anymore. Okay, they stopped every help. So now what was the effect of the depression on Germany? Industrial production reduced by 40%. The number of unemployed touched to an unprecedented 6 million. 6 million people began unemployed. Where when the youth is unemployed, it took to rise in the criminal activities. Businesses had failed, and then ultimately crops also failed, and mothers were not able to feed their children. So this led to everybody came to streets, okay, and what happened? They began to blame the Weimar Republic. The Weimar Republic or the November criminals are all to blame for that. Now this situation of chaos was became came to favor Hitler. How did it come to favor Hitler? Let's read about that. Okay. Before that, we will read about Hitler. Now Hitler was born in Austria in 1889, and he spent his childhood in a very poor condition. Okay, he joined the army in and he fought in the World War One. Okay, that was in August 1914, and and when the World War One was lost, Hitler was very angry about it. Okay, and also he was furious with the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, so what happened? What was his further action? In 1919, he joined the political party. Okay, now Hitler became the head, and what was the head of it? National. You should remember this party's name, National Socialist German Workers' Party. That same party came to be known as the Nazi Party. And when Hitler came, he introduced a new sort of Nazi Party salute that was "Hey Hitler." Okay, and also he introduced the swastik symbol as a party symbol. Okay, this was the party symbol. Okay, the first election that he fought was in and he did not sorry, was in 1928, and he did not win much because he was new, as you can say. It was the first time election that he fought. He got only 2.6 vote. Okay, that was very bad. He failed very badly. But when I told you, like, when the Great Economic Depression came, all the people of the Germany, they began to blame the Weimar Republic, or you can say the November criminals, for all their chaos, for all their problems. This favored Hitler. He began to he began to give speeches, and he began to make fake promises, and he began to play with the emotions of German people. If you support me, okay, and vote in the election, I will end all your problems. Okay. So what are the promises that he made? Whatever he made several promises, and because of the people blamed Weimar, they began to support dictatorship. Okay, so in 1932, he won the election in German parliament by 37% vote. Okay, that was a great win. Okay, now we will study how did he win. He made promises to the German people. What are the promises that he made? Sampath, read to me.
Hitler promised the people that he would make Germany a strong nation. I will remove the provisions of the Treaty of Versailles, enhance the dignity of each individual of Germany. Every citizen of Germany will get employment. I will stop the foreign interference.
Okay, so this was all the promises that he made, and people believed him. They began to worship him. Okay, and now in January 30th, 1933, President Hindenburg had appointed Hitler as the Chancellor of Germany also, and this began the reign of dictatorship. Okay, okay. Now he won the election. Okay, now in February, sorry, In February 1933, a fire had broken out in the German parliament. Okay, and in the next day itself, in February, in 28th February 1933, the fire decree was introduced. Okay, and what happened with this decree? He indefinitely suspended every civic rights. Okay, now people did not have no freedom of speech. Okay, no freedom of press, no freedom of assembly. This was all suspended by him. Okay, and he took to by March 1933, the Enabling Act was passed. This had this had thrown out republic, okay, and this has thrown out democracy, and it has started the dictatorship. Now, after he became the dictator, what he did? Hitler bans all parties except one party. Now there is no elections at all. Okay. Now Germany became a one-party state. Okay. So far you understood how Germany became a dictator state. Jitendra, are you following us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now Germany became a one-party state, and now he began to make promises that he will improve Germany's economy, and also he will bring back the pride of German people. Okay, so he hired his commander, that was Halsmus Schwast. Okay, just remember his spelling. Okay, the Jalmar Schwast. Now he asked him go improve the economic conditions of the German people. Okay, now he was a very great man. In that time only, a lot of production was started. Now Haldwas Schwat, who aimed at full production and full employment. So only when there is production is there going on in the country, only then there is going to be employment. So now with this propaganda, he began to employ everybody. So for this, of course, he needed state-funded work creation program. Okay, so he designed state-funded work creation program, and but what happened? And with this program he began automobile industries. He began to construct roads also. Okay, now German super highways were constructed. Okay, and also the famous Volkswagen was started. Okay. Okay, now what happened? But Hitler had promised all this, and Shamaro had started doing his job, but this was not his aim. His aim, he was a fighter, and he was a conqueror type, okay, and he wanted to conquer all over Europe. So Hitler made changes inside the foreign policies. What are the policies? What are the changes that he made? Note this down in your notebooks. In 1933, Hitler withdrew Germany from leagues of nations. Okay, he wanted nothing to do with the international institution. Okay, and in 1936 he reoccupied. Like I told you, he reoccupied Rhineland. Okay, that was rich in coal and iron. Okay, and in 1933 Hitler reintegrated Austria and German. He was born in Austria. Okay, so he joined Austria with Germany. And what is the slogan that he gave? One people, one empire, one leader. Okay, so this was a slogan that he spread everywhere, and the people followed his slogan that yes, this is right. Well, there should be one country, one people, and one leader. Okay, now he captured also the German speaking southern land from Czechoslovakia. All this was he was doing all this conquering. So his advisor, that the one he had employed to grow, to make growth of, to progress the economic situation of the country. So now he said, where you should think of improving the economy of the country, you are engaging in fighting with other countries. Of course, when you are into war, your finances are drained into the war. Okay, now people are going to war. How are they going to be working in the factories? So this was any war is a bad effect on a economy, on the already Germany was had gone to a financial crisis. So this advice Jalmar gave, that you should not go into war now. You should focus on economic growth. Okay, well, of course Hitler was not going to be listened to him. Okay, he said you should not invest in hugely in rearmament. Okay, and but Hitler chose war. Why should and what this was a statement that he gave to him. Why should I develop in my own country when I can occupy another developed country? He thought that I will occupy rich resources countries into our into Germany, and this is how we can improve our economy. We don't need to work on industries and production and roads and automobiles and all, etc. Okay, so Hitler chose war as a way out of the approaching economic crisis. Okay, but what happened, this is in this map, you see we have Germany. Okay, uh, you see Germany is here. Okay, now he occupied Austria. Okay, he occupied Czechoslovakia. Okay, so now you see he also occupied Poland. Okay, now here it comes Russia. Okay. Hmm. And when Germany invades Poland on 1st September 1939, that leads to the beginning of Second World War. Fine. And now again, this when he occupies, there is a fight between France and England. Okay. Now Germany, uh, in September 1940, the three-party pact is signed. Between Germany, Italy, and Japan. Okay. Let's talk about this. We don't need to talk about this pact in a very detail, but you should just understand that the Second World War was fought between France, England, okay, and on the other side was Germany, Italy, and Japan. So he thought, I had Italy and I have Japan as friends, so now I can defeat England and France. On all this picture you can see USA is nowhere there. Okay, USA is not involved. He wanted to keep away from the war. But what happened, Japan, now Germany attacks now here in this diagram you can see Germany attacks Russia. Okay, so what happened, Russia also attacks Germany, and here England also attacks Germany. Now he is rounded up. Okay, you can say they rounded him up. Okay, and of course this is what happened in Second World War. Like I told you, USA wanted to stay away, but what happened, Japan attacks. Japan was had an impact with let me go back. Okay, now Japan is friends with Indo and Japan, with China and India. Okay, and what he does, he attacks on Pearl Harbor. This was a great event. Okay, they ambushed. They were, although USA was not into the war, they had a naval base over there, and in the Pearl Harbor, that is called. I know Japan ambushes here and attacks on them, Pearl Harbor, and destroys the entire post. Okay, so because of this, the USA enters into the Second World War, and he finishes also the Second World War. And how does he finish the Second World War? Germany is defeated. Okay, and the second thing, a nuclear bomb is dropped in Hiroshima. On the defeat of Second World War, of course, he was a very uh, Hitler's personality was very arrogant, and he could not take the defeat. Okay, so along with his friends and his wife, he decided to commit suicide, and he blasted himself in his palace. Now this is the with this, many of his loyals who were with him, That is in the starting of your chapter. We read a story about that boy whose father commits suicide. So in this way, many, not only Hitler, many of his very close friends also committed suicide. Now this leads to the end of the Second World War. Okay. Now May 1945, Germany had surrendered. Okay, and this was the end of the Second World War, and the Allied powers, that is France and England, they win this war. Okay, now Nuremberg, Germany is there, and international military tribunal is formed. Okay, now USA, France, and UK, now they put the war criminals into trial. Trial is there. They tried? They tried the Nazi party. You are going to pay for all the destruction that has happened in the Second World War. When they came here, then they got to know about the Holocaust. Anybody can tell me, have you heard about the Holocaust? Jitin, can you tell me about the Holocaust? Okay, I'll do. Sampath, are you going to, do you know, have you heard of Holocaust?
No, ma'am.
Okay, like you must have seen, you all must have heard about the Holocaust was the mass killing of the Jews. Okay, now he was very racial. Okay, he was very racial, and when the Allied forces came to try the Nazi party for war crimes, then only they got to know. Then only the world got to know about about the Holocaust that had happened on the Jews. Okay, about 6 million Jews were killed. About 2 lakh gypsies were killed. Gypsies was also a race. Okay, and about 1 lakh Polish civilians, that is the people, the citizens of Poland, they were killed. Okay, and he killed his own Germans, that was about 70,000. And who are these Germans? Why did he kill them? Because they were handicapped in some way. Okay, if a person is handicapped, he realized that this person is no good. He should not, the country should not feed him. He is not worth living, and they were sent to the gas chambers and they were killed. So we now we are going to talk about the Nazi ideology, the beliefs of Hitler, and what this was his ideology. According to him, according to their ideology, there is no equality between people. Everybody is not equal, but only a racial hierarchy. Okay, now there are categories of races. Okay, so what, according to him, the person with the blonde hair and blue eyes, okay, that was the Aryan, you can say. Okay, they are the top priority. Okay, the Nordic Aryans are the higher hierarchy. Okay, and according to them, the most weak people are Jews. Okay, so pro he ran a propaganda. What he ran a propaganda? The Jews are filthy people. Jews are uh, weak people. They are no good. They are liars. They are rats, and they are this and they are that. All this. How did he spread all this? He used movies. He used posters. He also gave speeches against them. Okay. Now, when you are like you see in the media, when he used the media to promote his propaganda. So everybody in the country began to believe this. Okay, although it was a lie. Okay, everybody. And what was the reason that he gave? To Christian to hate Jews, that it was the Jews had crucified Jesus. Okay, they were responsible for the killing, or you can say the torture of Jesus Christ. So now this was the main reason why he spread the hatred of Jews. Next, he said that Jews are people who are taking more interest in on lending loans. Okay, when they lend a loan to a non-Jew, they charge more interest but they favor their own community a lot. They support their own community, and they are, what is burning? Okay, so they charge more interest. And then what happened? What is the reason? They burned down lot of Jews into their villages. They gathered them together and they burned down their property. Okay, and they burned down their houses. So what was it? They were collected into small chambers. They were packed into small railway wagons, packed into them like goods, and then they were transported to a remote place, and there they were sent into a gas chamber, and there they were killed by gas. Okay, so they were smoked to death, you can say. They were smoked to death. Okay, and now this was called the Holocaust. This mass killing was the Holocaust. Okay, now those who were also living, so these were all pushed into a small area. They were forced to live into a very compact place and very filthy place. There was no killing, no cleanliness over there. They were forced to eat food from the street. Okay, they were just tortured, and they had no food, no hygiene, no clean water, no health aids. Okay, and but he had favored only the Nordic Aryans, okay, those with blue eyes and blonde hair. Okay, now to promote his ideology, whenever you promote an ideology, he focused first on the youth of Germans. Okay, so he decided that my ideology is going to be, so he introduced books inside. He removed the history, okay, of the past, and now he introduced new history books out there, and now in that the ideology of Nazis were taught. Okay, now he was taught to the kids to be very loyal to the Nazi party, and Hitler was seen as a god, as a savior. Okay, now he was the one who got the Germans out of the problem. Okay, children were asked to worship him, so people began to see him as god, and there were slogans in his favors. Okay, so what was his youth organization? Whenever a kid was there between 10 to 14, they were sent to jung walk. Okay, now here, after this, when he became 14 years old, he was sent to the Nazi youth organization. Okay, now they were called the Hitler youth. Okay, now after the Hitler youth, when they became 18 years old, they were sent to labor services. Okay, now from there they were promoted to become commandants. Now when these children were taught from the toddler age that you should worship Nazis. So they were packed with all the Nazi ideology. Okay, so this was all about the youth of Hitler during the Hitler's time. Now we will talk about the mothers. Okay, the state of women during the dictatorship of Hitler. So this is his statement. In my state, the mother is the most important citizen. Okay, why was she important to him? But it was not all women who were important to him. Not all mothers were important to him. Only those mothers were important to him, those who gave birth to the Nordic Aryans. Okay, who gave birth to the, if there is an interracial marriage, if a woman went to married an interracial a non-Nazi person, that woman would be punished, and she would be also executed. Okay, so these women who they were not allowed to marry according to their choices, and they were punished, and they were what to say, they can say those women who gave birth to non Aryan kids, so they were punished. But those women who gave birth to the higher good racial children, they were rewarded. They were given, you can say, they were given tickets, and they were given free passes, and also they were given medals. Okay, so for if you have 4 children, you are given a bronze medal. If you have 6 children, they were given silver cross, and if you have 8 or more than 8 children, they were given a gold cross. So the woman who got a gold cross, she got free passes, she got free spas, free clothes and all that. Okay, now the Jews, you can see the Jews were starved, the Jews were ghosted. Okay, now this was a promo. How did, why did nobody speak for the Jews? Why nobody supported them? No, why nobody felt pity for them? Why? Because they were portrayed, their propaganda was spread that they are evil people, so their faces were made as if they are very ugly, they are very evil. Okay, so they were like ghost killing people, and stories were spread that these people are are greedy for money, and they want to sit, like they made this poster that you see, do spread hatred among the for the Jews. Okay, also films and movies were spread in which Jews were or criticized. Now because he had controlled, because he had controlled all the media, there was no freedom of press, so only that what he wanted, what he approved was spread into the media. Okay, now we talk about Charlotte Bridget. Okay, it might come into your exam also. So this, she also wrote a book in which she spoke about the nightmare of the nation between 1933 and 1939. Okay, we will continue this later. We are out of time. Okay, Sampath, thanks for joining. I will we will continue this. We will end the chapter in the next class. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Bye. Good night.